You know what? I'm going to say I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed to say almost. My grandmother passed away. It's going on what, 5 years now? 6 years now. And no, 5 years. I'm sorry, 5 years. And I had a cookout at my house because it was the first year that she wasn't around with the family, and we was all trying to do our normal thing in the summer, and whatnot. And I had a T-shirt on with um, I can't even say the word of my damn. I don't know blank on the word. Damn, I hate that. Alma mater. There you go. And my uncle and my cousin said once a commando, always commando. And it was humming the song. I'm like, how y'all know about Marshall? And they looked at me like, you didn't know we went to Marshall. I said, get the hell out of here. Because you sometimes you don't go that far into some people past. You might ask your parents certain things. Like I knew my parents went to Farragut. But some of my cousins went to Farragut based on where they lived over in the K Town area. But I didn't. But I didn't know my uncle, my mother's brother, went to Marshall, or my cousins, and we started talking. And I started, and they talking about, did they have this music school? I'm like, nah, and they got rid of a lot of that stuff way before I got there. And my uncle was like, he said, yeah, they wasn't gonna keep that stuff. They said we lucked out because it was just changing over in the 1950s and 60s. I bring it up for a reason. If you're a black kid in a major city, say you was born in the late 60s, you may have gotten and called it in time to be introduced to certain trades, or certain extracurricular activities, or certain programs. And by those of us born in the middle 70s to late 70s, we some of us missed those programs. Now, when I went to school, it was a medical program they had at Marshall, and I don't know if they still got it there or not, because it's been a while since I've been to the alumni meetings or picnics or whatever. And you started thinking about how much stuff that we're not taught, and why is it done? And it's done on purpose. It's a racial motivation for it. It's always a racial motivation. Then you start thinking about every week hearing some story about some teacher doing or saying something inappropriate to a child. But they barely want to talk about what's been done to the black child. Integration has done so much damage because if you talk to most black people, our parents especially, who was able to go to school, because not everybody in our parents' age group was able to go to school. I know that's hard to believe, but that some of our parents and grandparents didn't get a proper education. My grandparents didn't. I know it's hard to believe, but well, let me rephrase that. My father parents, because they was older than my mother's parents, but that was in the 20th century. It's amazing that my father and his siblings was able to push that in their children. Learn as much as you can. This is why when I was a kid, my mother and father made sure we went to the library, we read. We was exposed to different environments because they knew that if, as a black child, especially if you're a black male, it's going to be doors to slam in your face, and you got to be able to either crack that door open enough to slide in, or kick it down. And unfortunately, I think our parents, some of them, that wanted to assimilate and integrate so bad in the 1980s and 90s, dropped the ball. And I think those of us who are Gen Xers, who are now in leadership positions or getting into leadership positions, we have dropped the ball as well. You and I know that a lot of our teachers, a lot of who are Caucasian, did not do right by us. Now, if you're a white teacher, past or present, and you hearing this and you taking offense to it, if you're not that teacher, I'm pretty sure you know of those teachers. I think about my third grade teachers, and I mentioned them before: Miss Rubenstein, Miss Luzak. My fourth grade teachers: Miss Wilson, who later became Miss Crowley, Miss Domek, Miss Smith Ellison. I remember all of them. If science fiction, if science reality caught back up, I just put it like this: I'll probably be doing time. They purposely discouraged us, or kept us back at times, or gave us the wrong information, or lied to our face. But then again, I guess I got off kind of easy. They just was trying to miseducate. Because you also got the teachers that try to sleep with these kids. And that's even worse. These kids are being exposed to adult situations and adult things that they don't understand or comprehend. As we get older, we tend to forget our childhood because we only children for such a short period of time. 18 years max, and actually not 18, because usually when you get about 15 or 16, you start leaving child things behind, such as toys and such and whatnot. I mean, you might watch a cartoon, but it doesn't register in your head like it did when you was 10 or 11. By the time you're 16, you're chasing boys, or you're chasing girls, you're thinking about going to parties, you're thinking about getting a car, you're thinking about money, you're thinking about being on your own, you're thinking about college, you're thinking about more adult matters, excuse me. So you're an adult a lot longer than you're a child. And that's why I tell anybody, let these kids be kids. Teach them at a young age. Put things in front of them. I was telling my cousins, I've told my sisters, I said, y'all got to invest in that Rosetta Stone. Let your kids learn Spanish. But now the way white folk can go after Spanish, maybe you just need to worry about just standard old English once again. But anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because I think about those teachers that try to do some of the most evil-handed things by discouraging us, lying on us, giving us bogus grades, doing all kinds of stuff to keep us from becoming doctors or lawyers or even entrepreneurs or tradesmen and stuff. I've stated in various videos, every week is a story about some teacher in this country. And usually it's about 5 or 10 of them who either try to screw your child or screw over your child. And a lot of us in our community never question. You know, I heard my sister and them say they got to make an appointment to go to talk to their kids' teacher. Our parents didn't do that crap. Our parents wanted to catch, if they thought that we was doing something wrong or something was going on at school, it wasn't right. It pissed them off. They take some time off for work, but they went up there and usually the job knew about it. There were teachers that picked on kids, had kids fighting each other, starting stuff. You think you're white. This is what we get that in our community about. You think you're white. Think about all this crap that they put in our head over the last 50 years. And we as a people never question. We never question it. I bring this up because the other day I came across a story. 4 teachers and a principal thought it was funny to pose with a noose. Then share the image. These are teachers. The principal thought it was funny to spread. These teachers took a picture with a noose and was laughing. Look at them. Now, I'm safe to say 3 of them may be white identified. This one with the dark hair may be Hispanic. But then again, you never know nowadays. But look at them. Nonetheless, they all will be identified as white or soon to be white. You never see black teachers caught up in shit like this. Remember when I told y'all about the National Teachers Union? They stopped that show from showing the teachers in the negative light. The teachers were sleeping with children and changing grades and all that crap. Look what's going on with Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman and them. Look what these educators doing. They discouraging our kids, but they giving rich kids up here who don't even deserve it, who don't even want to be in these schools. They taking funding out of our communities. Teachers ain't teaching these kids anything, and if a kid learns something, they just say, "Oh, you got it wrong." But these people are holding the news. This should be a news story. They ain't talking about this. They still worry about Jussie Smollett. They still talking about Michael Jackson or Bill Cosby or Wendy Williams. They're not talking about this. Palmdale School District over in California. California supposed to be this liberal state. No, it's not. There's more hate groups in California than people thought. All that crap that's coming out of Hollywood is aimed at showing us in the most negative light. So I'm not shocked when I see stuff like this, but this stuff is not talked about. They thought it was a joke. They got us always talking about hanging ourselves because it's another school year. Well, don't become teachers then. Get another profession. They know educated enough to know what this noose means. Every year, it goes without fail. Every week, some high school students or grammar school students or teachers who usually identify as white get caught doing or saying something racist, and they want to tell us we're oversensitive. We read too much into it. This is deeply insulting, but this ain't the first time stuff like this happened. Remember, there are still black people being found hung across this country. Y'all talking about synagogue attacks. Y'all talking about people not respecting other people's religious belief, but when people they do this to us, they know what it triggers. Before my grandmother died, she said every time she saw President Obama get up and do a speech, she was afraid something was gonna happen to him. They was traumatized from the 1960s and 50s and 40s. At a certain age, they had to drop out of school to help around the house, especially if they were sharecropping. Or they had to go get jobs in the factories when they came up north because because the family wasn't properly educated. And the teachers didn't, yeah, you don't need to be here. Just a waste of time. And the ones that stayed there, they was afraid they was going to take their jobs or outdo them or their children or move right next to them. So he did everything they power to discourage. That's why if a black kid do advance, you got it because of affirmative action. Not because the kid is smart. Not because the kid did what he's supposed to do. You're here because of affirmative action. And who's the ones be yelling about that the loudest? Caucasian women. Who's usually the ones that get caught doing these things? Caucasian women. But yet, we're treated as the bad guys of the story. Don't get me wrong, some of these kids don't want to learn because the way the environment is set up at home and at school. Excuse me. But when you got teachers that are doing this, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of racism these teachers we spread. I'm telling you, I think back when I was going to school, the stuff that came out of these white teachers' mouth, the things they said, hitting us, throwing stuff, calling us stupid, and then you go home and tell your parents. There was a time where parents believed everything teachers said and done. And it got to the point they believed them. These kids grew up. When I have kids, I'm a question. So they gotta. So it's sort of it's a mixture. They gotta win without really, and now didn't pass it on. So now parents don't even question teachers. They go up and they get in arguments with the teachers now because you don't know if the teacher's up to any good, and they know it. And they sit there like they don't know if we coming or going. So some parents, they don't even try anymore. They just hope their kids learn just enough to get out. No. This is why you got to take them to the library. You got to talk about your history. You got to challenge them in their thinking. Because there are men and women who get up and say, we're not teaching these little niggas. They don't want you to know more than they kids in their community. I mean, just turn on the TV. When you hear our children talk versus their children, actually, why you sit there and say, don't they have teachers? They want to throw to mom and dad. Mom and dad is not properly educated. This is the teacher's job. At school, teachers supposed to correct them. When they use inappropriate grammar, you're supposed to correct them. They're not doing that. And somehow we in the black community bought to the thing, that's a white thing. And these teachers Reinforce that BS. These women had a noose and thought it was funny to pose with it. And then they kept it in a school where people could see it, walk right past it. See? These must be educated. They know what this represents. That's terrorism. They know exactly what they're doing, but yet we sit back and we don't never question. This is why I keep telling y'all voting matters. No, it don't. Yes, it does on local level. Who's over the school board? How many of y'all treat your kids to school and say, you know what? When we go for a job interview, we have a resume. The principal is the boss, but we got stock. Our children are our stock. They are our future, right? We need to know what this teacher education was. What did they have any reprimands? That's what you should. The PTA they should be telling the parents. They know everything about your family. They know your person. You don't know a damn thing about them. They know where you live. They know where you work. They got your phone number. They call you. They call you. They'll tell you. They'll tell parents you can buy this and do that, but you don't know nothing about them. Y'all never question why your son and daughter can barely read or speak, or why they don't have this wanderlust to want to learn more. Because they're not challenging these kids. They out here got their racial biases. If you think racism has gone away with a dinosaur, you are sadly mistaken. If you look at TV, most of the misinformation is coming from white females' mouths. That's not saying the white men ain't doing shit. I'm not saying all white people are racist. But when you look at these things every year, who is it? White women, white faces, white girls. Think about all these racial things the last 3-4 years, and then you tell me different. These women should be fired. The principal should be fired. The school should be have a fine should be instituted against these people. Those people should never work again. Nuisance. They think it's funny. It's a school district. It's Palmdale School District in California. And as I said, California is not as liberal as y'all think it is. Watching, just looking at that image of those women with that noose made me flash back to my school years. Oh, the teachers didn't have a noose. They just called us stupid. And every now and then we heard mom a nigger. But you couldn't prove it. Because back then, parents believed what the teacher said. And all the teachers, black and white, came together as a united front. But black teachers started to realize they was being edged out of the schools, being set up. That's why you don't see a crap load of our teachers anymore. This is why I keep telling y'all, you got to take your kids to the library. Go to a bookstore, read something to them, tell them not their history, because they're not getting it in school. Because there's a lot of stuff that I had to learn as a grown man. These teachers purposely have an agenda. And the thing is, we keep falling for it. Every week is a story. But this should have been national news. Now, I know y'all can say, Harvey, you expecting it should have been still. We talk about everything else. Everybody worried about Empire coming back. That's a TV show. The reason why they don't want to cover this because it ain't just going on in California. Somewhere in New York they're doing this. Somewhere in Chicago, Illinois they're doing this. Somewhere in Minnesota they're doing the same thing. This is why some people don't trust the system. This is why some people don't mix it, they don't respect, because they have flashbacks when they was kids. Oh, I remember Mr. Such said this to me. I remember Mr. Such said did this to me. It is sad. It is so sad that we live in a world that people are that evil, that honoring. But the thing is, this should have been a news story. This should be this is something that we need to talk about in our community. It's been going on too long, and these teachers, they get caught by cause of social media and their egos. But just imagine all the crap they got away back when I was a kid, or our parents and whatnot. They felt confident that only the white folks gonna see it. And it tell you something, that somebody in their little clique saw it, didn't find it funny. Whoever that was, whether it be black or white, thank you for bringing this to our attention. But this should have been a national news story.